Peace and blessings to you. Power to the chosen people. Lexus. I wouldn't care who you put on there. I wouldn't buy a car with your money right about now because of the uncertainty around uh, purchasing parts. But really, if you think about it, that's not affecting me. It'll affect me in higher prices I will pay for certain things, certain goods that I want. But other than that, it doesn't affect me, family. It affects corporations and business that depend on trade, international trade, products from international trade. It can be, which it is actually affecting the field that I'm in. But long as I'm not, bottom line, it's not no conspiracies or none of that. As long as I'm not connected to the system, I should be able to breathe, to live, As long as I'm not connected to them. I'm sitting here listening to this video about the student loans and how they would be using, the government will now be garnishing wages of the borrowers. And I'm like, well, you borrow from that system, pay it back. Then I'm like, they clear my student loans, so it's not that I'm being cruel or nothing, but don't go into complete shutdown and get to get emotional about it. Yes, you are emotional. That's a natural option, but that's not an option I would lean on when I'm facing adversity. So, Florida property tax is canceled. Hmm, I'm gonna do my research on that. He would have to because he's sinking bad. I'm staying on Florida and watching the housing market and all the surrounding additives to it, like HMO housing, the homeowners associations and other things like insurance and understanding those things. Never know, I might buy me some land. Yeah, it's definitely foreseeable. I would love to have some land. I would do some building on that so I can work my skill set for myself, you know. And that's the purpose of making this video. I'm not gonna rag on all the everything that I'm seeing and the people are hurting. But my advice, if it if I can be of any assistance, is I wouldn't dwell on it. It's by the grace of God they canceled my debt. My debt wasn't nothing but like 6,000. I just heard this woman talking about she got like 500,000 in student loans, and I'm like, what kind of education did you um what form of education did you go to learn about? And with that degree that you receive, is it was it worth the money? You know? Will it in turn be a way for you to invest in having a secure future, a way of life? Not just you, but if you have dependents and when you have dependents. It's a lot of questions. A lot of questions. That's why I always say I don't have no problem with the system, but people got to understand the system. A lot of people they depend on it. Yeah, you can get ahead. It looks like you can get ahead, but I don't think so. When it comes to you think about the taxing, especially you ain't got nothing going no way, so you in a that's a lose situation. If you gonna make a deal, you make the right deal. If you got something going on the back end where you can get products or add a service, you got a service going, and you can add to that service to enhance that service where you can scale that service, reach more people and make more money. You scale it by making more money. You may add something to it that's a part of it, something that's not already there, or you may do business at a cheaper rate to get more people. You'll get it in bulk, like a Walmart business plan. buy in bulk and sell low. I forgot what that business model was called. But I took notes. I wrote it down listening to a professional businessman, a real one. And I know you too, business person, but a real multi, billionaire, millionaire, multi-millionaire. And that has motion. We all got motion. Some of us just got slow turtle motion. We got turtle motion, then we got slow motion, and we got motion. Then we got those that excels at a rate that's God's speed. You did. That's all I can say about it because man can't contain you. You got a element of society, people in society that operates like that. And people that we read about in the Bible, we hear. We hear, family. You can tap in, but it's mental. You got to lock in. You can't allow other things to come along. These fly by night gimmicks and all these this sorcery and familiar spirits they preaching and all these dreams they selling you and man, the tarot cards. Family people ever learning but never come to the knowledge of the truth. The truth is God is in you. He dwells in you. We're not gonna see him no other way. And you have to tap into that and extract that to bring that. It's a metaphysical thing. You going into the spirit realm to bring what's in eternity into earth. It's doable, fam. It's not no make believe, no made up. Like I hear him talking about the Israelites, and like brother I was listening to was saying, I appreciate what the brothers out there in the corner doing. Now I might have a difference of understanding with doctrine, and especially like brother said, look, the Messiah wasn't born of Joseph. Joseph is not the father. I don't care what you say. If you don't get that, you ain't gonna understand nothing of the spirit. How can you? That part I don't understand, and you're gonna be judged for that. Yeah, you Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, and you going around the world doing a good thing. I love it. Keep that energy going, but I would, but bethink myself on that assumption that they tend to lean towards saying Joseph is the father. They can't understand things of the spirit. Now I understand everybody not gonna get it, but for Jacob, the actual descendants of the children of the Hebrews, I'm not talking about Israel, the Hebrews. But it just so happened the Hebrews are the people that he chose and named them Israel. He named Jacob Israel. That's what gave you the covenant. That covenant is more than just some words and saying, oh, I'm going to church once a week. That's your lifelong, that's your purpose to serve him, his kingdom. That's your purpose. You can't get caught up in the world in the sense where, I'm not going to say what you can and can't do, but that's not fulfilling his purpose. You going to work for anybody. You going outside. Everything you need is already inside of us. That I'm learning to tap into. I'm not doing no manifestation, but I'm using that word, which I know that word is in the flesh. And it became flesh. Why? Because it was spoken. It was drawn upon. It was spoken and believed by faith, be it unto you. And it was so. Because why? The Messiah was speaking. There was no iffy in his conversation. He was dead set on what he spoke on, what he believed, you know. He was dead set on it. Wasn't no wavering. Wasn't no debating the Father's word. It was his thing was to establish it, and that's what he did. And that's the example that he showed you. Within that example, to the children, there's a lot of learning you can unpack from that. I unpack a lot of it. Even when I'm talking about it, I'm thinking on it to look at other ways of, which the spirit is moving. That's what I mean by bringing that spirit into this realm. You making yourself prepared, preparing yourself to do the greater things, like your Father, being set apart unto Him. Don't get religionified, family. Religion will sell you a religion or do you one bad, family. Do your own research because whatever you establish, it has to come from your mind. It has to be a decision that you made because you have faith and you believe on what's established by the word. You know it to be true. That's a living word. I don't care what church talking about. I don't care what scientists talking about. You believe that thing uh, unto the death. And the way I look at death is like I said, that's entering life. You leaving this experience and going to greater. You going back into the spirit realm, so it can only be greater. Read your Bible, it'll tell you. And yes, and for the people that's discouraged and steady staying stuck in that energy, that's bad for you. Be strong and of a good courage. We understand and know what they did. You know, it's a business. That's what y'all fail to realize. And once I got that education, people look at me crazy. I never wanted to work for none of them. For what? I got the education. Who's the best salesman? I'm the best salesman to make the deal. You know what I'm saying? To establish myself, to bring security for me and my household. I'm the best man to manage that. Not no going to work for nobody. And I don't say that in a sense, where I look down on people or think I'm better than people. No, that's for security purposes. Especially in times like this, people have invested in these conditions based on an outcome that was promised to them, and it's just not so. A lot of people who invested in these education got these degrees. Yeah, they live in this lifestyle, but as you can see now, we see it's based on credit. The credit market is a disaster. It's a disaster. The lending market is a disaster no matter how you look at it because people are solely dependent on that. And I understand because that's what the government create. It doesn't promote self-sustainability. It doesn't promote independence. No, it don't. They tell you they do in writing, but that ain't what they do in actuality. Practice is different from what's written, family. Hell no, they feel your strength. They feel you. You coming out of nowhere. They done been and they done went and paid for this high end fucking information that ain't clicking, unless they come up under one of them. You can't be a leader. You can only go so far, you know. Will white America recover from this? They lied and have nowhere to hide. All right, Farrakhan. Damn, you're about a power failure. You're gonna see all type of signs and wonder in the earth. You're gonna see all types of signs and wonders in the earth. That's just what it is. Y'all keep speaking on things. That's why I don't be watching the news. I'll be checking these shows out to get the skinny on a lot of things. But a lot of this stuff they playing witchcraft. And if you buy into it, we understand there's a greater at work. Yes, there's gonna be distress amongst the nations. But you gotta understand, all that is a test. It's like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, especially for the chosen, the so-called Negroes. We know who we are. We know whose we are. And we know our purpose. We can't get caught up in all these things of the world. We can't get caught up in that because if you Iran's pork continues to burn. Oh, okay. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. Putin sending us warplanes to help drop the water over there in Iran. Okay, that's what's up. Help your friends. I would do it too. Go drop some water over there for them. Help them stop that fire. Okay. Iran, y'all on the water coast. Why don't y'all? That's crazy. What happened over there? Let me get up out of that. Americans are sinking fast. Yes, if you stay in lockstep with what the world is doing and following them, no. Oh, Louis Vuitton stores empty after Chinese manufacturers speak out. Wow, 5 days. Oh, I just watched this lady too, and I wished her well on her thing. What's she doing? And I see hardworking people, that's at the bottom, that's going through the rigmarole, rigor, that's going through, and they are developing on each level, and there's nothing wrong with that. They know what they're doing. They know who they are. They don't have to lie. You can get the product. Order the product. Check it out. You should see the numbers. The numbers are they making it where the numbers are ridiculous. And I could believe it, family. Them people not lying. But understand what's at work. Yes, these nations gonna be judged. And which means there's gonna be a shift in power, family. And if you understand who you are and how to work this power of the I am that's in you, understand words have power. And what you want to speak and think in lockstep with the Messiah. He's the master teacher, family. It don't got nothing to do with no religion. Hear me and hear me well, family. I'm not no preacher. I don't got nothing against people. But I do not follow no religious beliefs. None of that dogma is not real. The natural laws of God is real. The supernatural laws of the Most High, Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, of Abraham, Isaac, and of Shem. We're gonna go back to Shem. Bless the Elohim, Yahuwah Elohim of Shem, just as Noah said. And what's that? That ain't Genesis. Yeah, that's Genesis chapter 9, verse 24. Then it goes on to talk about Japhet, which we see in the land now. In certain parts of our lands, occupying our lands. And I ain't talking about that little old strip because the promised land encompasses a whole more lot of land. A whole more lot of land. And that little piece of strip ain't the focal point of the promised land. No, 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 no. It doesn't produce in context with thus says the Most High. He describes the lands and how they produce. He describes the ecosystem of it, the animals, the people, what type of people, what type of animals, to help you understand the culture. Where animals comes farming. What type of people are you dealing with? Because we understand the system of the law when it comes to it's a law that the Most High established that will bring us abundance if we work it, where we will be successful and prosperous as a people. But if you work it, plant the seeds and harvest them according to the law. There's a law of planting and harvesting, and it can work. That's what it feeds you. What my man say, we frugivores. We eat fruits and vegetables. Really, a lot of fruits. Look at the lands where your DNA is native to. Do your own DNA. You don't have to follow the group thinking. Do your own DNA and see, prove it out for yourself. It's a beautiful thing. It's a journey. But be careful with that DNA test and stuff. I'm not one that's giving my DNA to everybody. I pay attention to things of the spirit. The Most High will answer, family. It's His word. It's what leads and guides. And I'm not going to question it. If it's to work, then in order for me to come to Him, I have to believe. How else am I going to get it to work? And I'm not going to let you and nobody else question. You know what I'm saying? It's all out warfare, spiritual warfare. This is it. I'll be right back. This is it. couple cars tomorrow, but road too, fam. We back. We back in a major way. You know, I'm working on eat. Hot. You know, fucking bug. I can't wait till I get my own crib. You know, they'll try to. That's pretty. These people bug. Like I said, I can't wait till I get my own crib. People are trying to kill your life, doing all this extra stuff. I can't wait. And I'm gonna invite people to come see me to experience how you compliment your brother or your sister. I can't tell you what to do in your house. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna conduct myself in an orderly fashion that's in line with what what, with my belief system. My belief system is kingdom. Thus says the Most High. You can read it in the book. People can argue and say, "Oh, you doing this? You got these elements or that element." I'm working on it, but I don't have no elements where I ain't even finna go there. That's between me and the Most High. We gonna work it out. Brothers gonna work it out. Brothers got a job to do. I ain't worried about what the next person think I gotta say. You ain't gonna stop me from doing what I need to do. Nothing that they say or do. I don't worry about what people be talking about. That's food for thought. That's gonna matter. That allows me because you gotta remember, out of darkness comes light. In your worst of times, you're gonna be thinking of a master plan. Always. You ain't gonna stay stuck if you stuck. But it ain't about being stuck. You can be in a place where you know you out of bounds. It's not good for you because of the energy. Energy matters, man. We look at this shit and be like, oh man, I ain't man, spiritual energy matters. People be working spells like they working witchcraft against you, you know. They wanna see you down. They don't want to see your light shine. I mean, you could people be just basic conversations. You know what I'm saying? You be having it be the people. It be the people mainly that you know that profess to know you and love you. That's who the fuck it be. Cause who else you around 24/7? Who else you talking about when you uncovering mysteries and ancient knowledge and knowledge of our ancestors and the books? Opening the books and you find who the hell else you talking to? Your own people mainly. They're looking at you crazy. They devising schemes. They speaking things out and not understanding words have power. You acting like your ancestors. You working familiar spirits and all this and that coming against the knowledge of truth with no no sure pure information to debunk what's true. Not nothing we making up. And people still got the nerve to question. Talking about questioning stuff. I be like, huh? Man, we passed all that shit. If you ain't got it by now, then that's on you. That's between you and the Most High. We moving on. Straight ain't nobody staying stuck there. Nobody gonna be stuck in what the world doing. They talking about them. I don't got nothing against the group, but if that's the skinny of your conversation, And you ain't building 24/7 to bring people out of the world in the system so they don't have to experience that. Then you do yourself a disservice. I'm being honest. It's a separation. Christ told you to render to Caesar what is Caesar. What you doing over there with Caesar and uh, the kingdom is nigh unto you. You don't believe the word? If you don't believe the word, then you just switch up, change your conversation then. You misleading the people. We ain't going for that. Ain't nobody going for that. Mm-mm. Gotta get it right. Burkina Faso got a juice factory. They built a lot of infrastructure in Burkina Faso. Ain't nobody missile sinks F-18 Super One. Ain't nobody thinking about ain't nobody listening to what them people talking about. Okay, they got a mango juice factory and a mineral plant. That's what's up. Mango juice, I know that stuff good. Wow. I love the mangoes. That be part of my little fruit blend. Mangoes, kiwis, ginger root. What else I put in there? Strawberries, sometimes apples. Granny Smith apple and a red apple, green apple, red apple. I already said ginger root, and I put my honey in there. I cut lemons up. Oh my God, you talking about a banger? I miss them smoothies. I used to be feeling like Superman running around. I wouldn't eat no meat barely. I eat my beans and rice and stuff like that with my vegetables as seasoned. Red peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers. Uh, yeah, white peppers. I was using them as my seasonings. It wasn't I ain't saying nothing wrong with the herb season. We got some good herb season out here. But I know that to be a seasoning, natural seasoning that works for me. I'll graduate eventually, but it works for me. And I know it's good for me. It's eating vegetables. And I like them black beans. Black beans and rice. Forget about it. I got me some beef, some smoked beef, cut it up, put it in there. My mom used to be like, what you down there cooking? Down there cooking some beans and rice, mom. I said, oh, okay. I said, what's that, the Zatarain? I said, all kind of Zatarain's rice. I just cook my little meats and stuff, my chicken, tenders, uh, steak, all that little steak and rice, chopped steak, chopped up, and you can use like a fajita, not chopped ground beef. Chopped ground beef is good though. Don't get it twisted. I did I ever make sandwiches? Because I used to always like, I make me sandwiches. Yeah, I did make sandwiches. I think I got the recipe from my mama. My lady used to tweet. Need the recipe for give me this. Why you don't call your mama? Like, why you want to start cooking now all of a sudden? The fuck you mean? Why all of a sudden I want to start cooking? In my own house, crazy. Women is women are women different. Like they be trying to be difficult on purpose. And I'm like, this ain't that time now. We're gonna get kicked off the ship. And nobody got time for all that difficulty. Yesterday was bad, it was rocky. You gotta heal. We know. And we gonna heal with you. Make sure you get through it. But we ain't staying stuck there and talking about that all day and spreading confusion amongst the others and telling the women, no, don't deal with the men. Like, who the fuck does that? Where our children gonna come from? They already telling the men don't be men. Like, what? I wouldn't care what they say. Like, but for us to promote that, something wrong with that. We the defenders of righteousness. We the defenders of righteousness, fam. No matter what, you the natural seed of the children of Israel, family. You gotta put some respect on that, and the Most High gonna put some respect. And that's where we draw from. It's not about a religion, it's not about a code, it's not about trying to pervert what the Christians did. I can care less. Judaism, I can care less. Any of these Hebrew Israelite groups, no, no, I'm not trying to pervert none of that. I don't have none against none of that. That's not what I'm on. We are kingdom citizens, family. I don't follow the same blueprint as a lot of them. If it ain't because the Most High, I believe in His word and I have faith, and it's gonna be to me according to my faith, which I don't. I don't have nothing set up really with the word. Yeah, I got that business, but I don't even use that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't even use that stuff. I mean, I think about that every day. Like, why don't you use it? Why don't you, join the rat race? That's why. I'm not joining in shit. Whatever I do is gonna be straight from the mud because I'm empowered to know that everything I'm looking for somebody else to provide, the Most High has already given me. It's in His Word. Whose report will you believe? That's what it comes down to. I know a lot of people gonna look at you crazy. They probably look at me crazy, but I don't care. I get it done. Know that part. I don't have no problems taking care of my position. Most High provide for His. I ain't no doubt in my mind I'm gonna be provided for. Mhm. Not just me. Everything that's connected to me. Ain't no doubt in my mind. We work within the law of His instruction. And law means instruction. That's the instruction on how you should go. That's what you follow. His laws, His instruction, the Most High. And that's how we get that result that you're looking for, which He is already given to you. You shouldn't have to go put yourself, become a slave to a lender. People be killing me. Oh, Most High gave you that job. Who? Most High told you to be fruitful and multiply. You gonna multiply from a job. No, you're not, because everything you get, you're gonna go get through a bank, a lender. You're not gonna save here and there, create a way to accumulate. No, a lot of people gonna promote jobs and this and that. And if you talking about doing business on your own, they're gonna look at you crazy, like you from somewhere else. And I realize, yes, I am. I'm not from here. I come from heaven. The Most High sent us here. So I'm gonna operate. I'm not gonna break tradition, following man. I don't think so. I'm with the set apart. That's what it is. Set apart unto Yahuwah. He has a name. I wish brothers and sisters would stop that too. I wouldn't. Yeah, you might just tell whoever getting on your nerves about his real name. Just tell them. Get out your face. You don't want to hear that. But don't deny he got a name. He says, if those who are called by my name, and even the Messiah, one sent in his name, with his name in his name. You got Yahuwah, Yehuda, the tribe of Judah, and you got Yahushua. And you got Yashrael, Judah, Yashrael, Yahuwah, and Yahushua. That's what sets us apart, family. can't take it lightly. You have to give it the esteem that is due. There's power in the word, family. When you're going through things, it could be of a physical nature. Many believe on the supernatural. We pray, we fast, and we call those things that are not as if they are, according to the word. And that's what we focus on to bring it to pass, family. We have no doubt in our mind, regardless of what the next person is talking about. We know and we stand on that because we know his word is the truth. Yeah, they have medicinal things that they use to try and get things done. But you got a God that's at work and that's always at work. You got to be tapped in, family. Ain't gonna be no just out the blue. In some cases, it might do. It's according to your faith, family. You know. Many of us have never seen the Messiah, but we believe. And that's accounted to you. And that's encouraging. That's very encouraging, regardless of what's going on in the world. That's what's up, Abraham Traore. Don't play with him. He stands strong. Today was a good day, though. It was a good day. It's gonna be better, but overall, it was a good day. Productive, as in productive. I didn't hear no bad news. Did I talk to my son? Yes, I talked to my son. I supposed to call him back. I don't know why. Didn't call him back. I visited the most racist country in the world, Mauritania. Black people, why are they racist over there? They probably saying they not black. They blacker than me though. That'd be killing me. People, oh, I'm not black. They don't want to associate with the Negroes, and it's the Negroes who've been on the front line since day one, fighting these. You know what I'm saying? The beasts. Oh shit! Then USA marching. They all across the world marching for peace over there in Africa, and so America stay the fuck out of Africa business. Africa don't own America nothing where they have to answer to any of America's demands. I don't know where America get that from. That shit is old, outdated racism, white supremacy, no matter how you package it. People ain't going. You want to disrupt the nation, there you go. There you go, right there. And let me tell you something. These ain't the Africans of old you dealing with, either from the continent, even to the scattered, diaspora of Africa. Those who were scattered, taken and scattered and sold and sold and scattered and resold like a commodity. It was an ugly situation, family. Real ugly, man. You can't make this up. I was listening to that a professor yesterday, African professor of history. The information she was going into and how they were so diabolical with categorizing what type of slaves they want for what type of uh whatever they had going on, domestically in the fields working, in businesses working, you know what I'm saying? They were enslaved, the young, the old, crazy, crazy. They needed a slave for particular situations, different situations, and they enslaved our people just for that. And you talking about no reparations? Well, God is gonna reparate us. I'm not worried about their reparations. I'm not overlooking it, but I understand that there's a greater work and the energy that they put out there. They sowed the seeds for it, so it's only gonna come back to them. I'm gonna speak it because I know it to be true. I don't want my people in desperation. Like, well, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen is you gonna believe on. You got to believe on the Most High and know you are who He says you are, and operate as such, and allow Him. He done already spoke it. They know they planted the seeds for it. It's like uh, this thing people like to talk about, they locked into manifesting things. But there's a system that they locked into that they use to accomplish what they set out to do, family, and they operating in spirits. Is it the spirit of the Most High, or is it a familiar spirit based on what they learned through doctrine of another man or woman and manifesting, which we know the Father said, the Messiah said, I will come to you myself. I will send the Spirit myself. Then we see the evidence of the Father sending the Spirit to send a message to the descendants of Shem when he was sending, these are the prophets, you know, these are his people, these are his servants. They hold the offices in the kingdom. That's why the tribes were broken up like they were. Each tribe played a part in the kingdom according to the will of the Father. You think the church replaced that? You're going to be sadly mistaken on that great and notable day. I tell you the truth. I tell you no lie. I'm going to have to stand before him. That's when I'm straight raw with it. Cut and unraw. I don't have to study the word like uh, the scholars, so-called scholars, whatever the hell they are, scholars, and people call themselves theologians. What that mean? We are the children, the descendants of that book. And once we come in contact with it, we study it and get to learn it and start practicing it in its truest form. We're not following religion. We following thus says the Most High. I am God, you know. So when you see me, I should be conducting myself in that fashion, like the son of his, like a son of his, a son, not the only begotten. There's only one only begotten. But if I'm operating like my father, then that means I'm coming in my father's, according to my father's word. His word has power. It's not me, it's him. It's his word. He sent his word. That word has power. And when you operate in it, you speak it. You meditate. That's what you meditate on, the word, because there's a spirit behind it that's waiting for you to command it to do what it wants you to do what you desire for it to do according to his glory and riches in heaven. And it should, and it is so for real, family. You know how you sit there and you, oh God, I wish, and you be bent, dead intent. It's set in your heart. You know of a surety, without a doubt. You got faith. You just know this is gonna happen. That's it right there. You locked in with the infinite, the all, as they call them, the all. Ooh, chaos in Oklahoma today. Brutal storm, floods, destroy homes, cars, and Lord have mercy. 2 days ago, nature is still crashing. The center of USA. Wow. China tariffs collapse U.S. farms. I can see that because they didn't. They're not taking them orders. The financial collapse. Then comes the mental collapse, spiritual collapse, and ultimately a physical collapse if you don't bring yourself out of that energy. You have to come out of what's going on, yet being mindful of it. But you got to know there's a greater at work. And at some point, you're going to have faith and believe. You just going to have to let it go. You're going to have to let it go and let. Oh, that's what's up. Sure, Ray, you got some Russian commandos. That's what's up. I bet they won't send them over there playing no games in your country. And if they come into your country, that means Russia gonna ride with you. Oh man, Larry Fink said market will collapse in 1 week. Last warning. Lord have mercy. In 1 week, Larry Fink said market will collapse in 1 week. Stock market prediction. Professor of market, 22 hours ago. He's talking here with let's watch this man. Trump's approval at 100 days is lower than any president in 7 decades. That ain't gonna change nothing. Instead of staying attuned into the energy that's bringing you all this discomfort, we're not gonna forget what it's doing, but yet making preparations to make moves to sidestep that, push that to the left, and we're gonna move to the right on the right hand of His Majesty. You know, moving from that higher. That's what's up, bro. From that higher frequency. Oh, the elder over there working out. Stop playing. That's what I'm talking about. The president over there, what's that, Uganda? He over there working out, doing push-ups. Oh my God. Doge says it saved 160 billion, but it costs taxpayers 135 billion. Man, y'all worried about the wrong thing. You staying connected to a system that you saying is failing and not understanding you killing yourself just by with the words that you speaking. That's why you gotta come out of the world. Be ye separate and holy. I don't want to hear what they doing. That's why I'm not stopping on no channel. Yeah, I'm just looking at the headlines, but exposing where luxury boutiques buy wholesale clothing in Turkey. Oh yeah, Turkey and them get the fabrics. It's all about the fabrics. They probably getting that stuff through, well, they get it through animals. You get fabrics through your animals and cotton. But leather and stuff like that, I believe that come through animals. So they growing a lot of animals, yeah, they gonna have, they got those materials. And they can supply them. Social media erupts in support of Ibrahim Traore after failed assassination attempt 6 hours. Oh yeah, they marching all in Europe. They everywhere. Brothers in America laying it down on dude talking that shit. He black. He just looked like that. This nigga talking about doing something to Traore. Oh, this one African brothers in the States. Exactly. How Africans across the world are responding to Traore. Man, I thought, you know what, that they say he a Muslim, but I'm like, bro, he could be, he has to be because he not in bed with these with the beasts and his systems. He not in bed with them, so his heart, I could tell from the fruits of their labor by what they're producing through building infrastructure and controlling their natural resources on their own and how they're using it to build their infrastructure. First, got their nation out of debt. They don't owe no debt. And then they began partnering and building, investing in the people. And they even did business with some outside companies. I'm like, okay, they doing their thing in the sense of investing in the people, and the people is loving him. Man, that energy around the world, and always I'm like, could he be? He's not in bed with them, so we know his heart is to the Most High because he loved God's people everywhere. Not just black people. I read the stories about the white people he deal with. They ain't talking about none of that. The love that he's showing to all people, not just black people, his own people, all people. He's even extended the olive branch to the African Americans and his brothers of the other brothers and sisters of the diaspora that's scattered. It just so happened that Dr. Arachuchina, Arachuka. I can't even pronounce her last name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dear Queen sister, Dr. Arachuka. But it's because of her constantly beating the drum and letting people know what's going on. She stayed on France, bringing it to the forefront. Stayed on France, and then he come Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. They took control of their countries, kicked France out of there, took control of their mines, stopped the corporations. Oh man, it was like heaven that opened its door. And now with the tariffs Trump putting out there, we see Africa collapsing their borders, establishing trade structure within the board within its continent, country for country. They doing business, selling their products and goods to their neighbors. So that's collapsing. I just spoke on those visas. They don't need those visas. Why would you need a visa? They're putting a trade infrastructure in place where you won't have to leave Africa to go to Dubai and then Europe or America. Hell no. They bypassed all that and they set their systems up. And in the process, right now, as we speak, of developing trade through their systems that's catering to the whole continent of Africa. They have gotten stronger, and this has been going on since the beginning of the tariffs. Instead of you ain't hearing about them because they not complaining, talking about, oh America, why you doing us like this? Hell no, they cutting ties with American trade, and I mean some heavy trade, natural earth minerals like you hear them talking about. They cutting them the fuck off. All those companies in those mines, they done been cut, Europe and American. You have some over there, but they didn't cut a lot of them. A lot of them and still cutting. Because why? They're using the mineral resources for their own people and to build their lands, which they're supposed to. That's what the fallout is about. This information that this Fink, these liars are bringing out. Like, where they do that at? And this is in the halls of the Senate, where I heard the order representatives or Congress, where I heard them talking about this. Like, this is how y'all conclude making decisions based on erroneous information. Are you fucking serious? You got to be kidding, man. I'm not even stuck on that as a person that's skin color that's in there. I believe you're right, sir. Agreeing with this story, this lying ass politician talking about from the information that he got. He might not know it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But at the same time, you do your due diligence. And then, who the fuck told y'all to come to the conclusion that you can remove a precedent in this damn time? That shit is over, my European brothers and sisters. Ain't nobody going along with that. Who the fuck? You not God Almighty down here. Black people, Africans ain't going for that shit no more. It ain't got nothing to do with y'all or nobody. Stop with the people hating y'all. Don't nobody hate y'all ass. Y'all the only one that use force against everybody else. If something happen, you don't turn the other cheek. Y'all blow their ass out the water and they whole fucking bloodline with them. Stop. You know what I'm saying? Somebody has to tell you the truth. That shit is not working. Y'all need to read Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. You steady talking about this Christ, but your ass gonna be called to the carpet for that because while you talking about it, we believe in it and walking in the truth, the realness of it, the light of it. You see real things happening when we talk about it and as we begin to, as we walk, ain't no beginning, we already doing it. We don't follow them erroneous doctrines they be putting out. Oh, we found this, found that. It's in Africa already. We know this. The book is in Africa. It's talking about that people. Just so happened that people migrated into Africa based on a covenant. And it wasn't about all the sons of Ham. No, it was one who broke the covenant. He broke the covenant. That's just like Negroes whining today talking about, well, I wouldn't want to serve no God that allow you to go into slavery. He didn't allow you to do nothing. It was your hard-hearted, hard-headed ass ancestors. Just like our people are fucking hard-headed today. They won't come together to ensure one another, but to compete around the clock, won't support, talk shit about one another, won't empower one another, don't see no vision of one another even reaching higher echelons. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you are meant to stay at the bottom. Like, ooh, get the fuck on. I never followed the world or those systems. I ain't with that shit. I'm from the hood. With all due respect to humanity, I don't care about none of that shit. I'm not moved by that. We got our own economics and financial systems. We got doctors and teachers too, doctorates and teachers in place that teach us. You know, we got scientists. We got people that's stronger than they scientists. They scientists don't know shit. They water down every good and perfect thing that's good. That's from God. That's natural. It's a part of natural law. They try to water this shit down like they word and what they believe supersedes the natural law. I just listened to that some information that this black what is he, a bishop, and he could possibly become the pope if they vote him in. I listened to a speech he was having over there, and there was a room full of Europeans, and he was talking about politics of Europe and America and their doctrines on how they use the church, how they have used it to pervert the word of God, to pervert man and woman, and how we come together and coexist with one another, and how they try to create a paradigm that's detrimental to humanity and society and the world at large, that's detrimental to us because it goes against everything that the Most High Power established. Then He put it in His Word, which is His instruction and guide for you to guide you through life so that you can be successful and prosperous in your endeavors and all righteous. We seek for his righteousness, which is his right rulership, which is instruction. The Most High is a king, sovereign. Can't no other man word debate his word or negate his word. If you don't understand it, you need to get with the brothers and sisters, open the books and crack it, or get on your consecrate yourself unto that word yourself. Like you sit there and try to learn every scripture. I seen a sister that I follow over there on TikTok, and she would sit and commit herself to consecrating herself to the Bible to learn scriptures, chapter and verses. I'm like, that's old school. I used to do that. Still do it. Do a lot of reading of the Bible. A lot of the scriptures and verses, chapters and verses I know now because I'm that invested in it. This is life. There is no other way for us, family. Y'all have to get that. It's not gonna work. I don't care how long. Look how long we've been trying to make it work. Yeah, yeah. I just said that. No one would have believed it if it wasn't filmed. I watched this morning. Zach, what is this? Mawikasa. Mawikasa. Zach Mawikasa. English channel. No one would have believed it if it wasn't filmed. And the Pope, I should let you hear his own words, but I'm about to get out of here. I got to get up in the morning. I got my man, he got his little motorcycle. That thing fast like a real damn motorcycle. That thing go 100 something miles. I was smoking them cars in traffic. I got to go and do some preliminary. I got to go and tune that baby up. Check for any faults, if it have any faults in the system, any deteriorations of things like that. Give it an oil change, fresh tune up. Look over the exhaust system. Make he says and got a little louder. I'm gonna check it to see if any rust, any holes in it, that will cause. But it's not an exhaust leak. It could be an exhaust leak. It could be. I'm gonna check all that out. First, I'm gonna go online. I'm gonna Google that product. Go online and look up what particular I can look at on the inside of. Take the panel down. Look on the inside to see what particular model. Get the serial numbers off of it and run them and see what comes up and look at how those engine or components or yeah those components are designed and what they're designed to do. And I can catch on. Once I find out, look them up and get the skinny on them, I can pretty much put it together what they can do. It's an engine. I work on engines and motors and engines every day. Control, control modules, every day that control the output of engines, output and input information that allows them to operate. Man, U.S. plan to stop Black America to support Captain unites behind Captain Ibrahim Traore. U.S. plan to stop Black America to support Captain unites behind Captain Ibrahim Traore. They can't stop. I'm a Negro from Chicago. They can't do shit about me supporting Ibrahim Traore. Nobody. I don't care what. I love my people that's over here. But I don't care if they don't understand what's going on. They need to wake their ass up. They need to wake their ass up. Straight up. And stop playing. You need to know these things are not no damn conspiracies. There's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. The West plotting another Gaddafi style takedown in Africa. They want Ibrahim. Yeah, because Ibrahim Traore is controlling the destiny, allowing his people to control their own destiny. They think they expose us, now they'll pay. Did that Hermes sued Chinese manufacturer for exposing their fraud. Ain't that a bitch? What you gonna sue them for? They told the truth. Right is right. You should have stopped trying to. These people got the fucking audacity. Just shows you how wicked they are. But they got the right to do that. Oklahoma is sinking today. Massive flooding turns Lawton into an ocean. People are on fucking rafters. The water is high as a fucking truck. Cars are floating. Trucks are floating. Big ass 4x4s. The water is all the way past the wheelbase. The wheels, period. That look, oh my God. It's so much natural disaster that's been going on in the Midwest and Middle America down to the southern states. I'm talking about destruction unseen. People probably wouldn't even believe it. As I was telling my guy tomorrow, I'm moving down this area, go get a job. I'm like, shit, I'm staying right here until it's time to get out of here. Until it's time to get out of here. Oh yeah, you know what? What I believe, yeah, you can only save you. You can't depend on nobody. Ain't nobody finna save you. Americans are not paying income taxes. You've been warned. Who's this? Trump? Schneider reports. That's good. Checks arriving now. President's bill passed. 4,500 direct deposits. What the fuck is that? And four direct deposit checks arriving for all Social Security. Oh yeah, they going after your ass for that money, whatever money you owe. The IRS coming for your ass. Luxury customers in tears. Made in China luxury buyers can't believe it. How you can't believe it? We've been telling y'all stop buying all that shit. Like, are you serious? You buy all this shit. That means you putting your stock in things instead of yourself and what you're made of, seeking the information. Knowledge is out here. China just cut off gas imports from U.S. and replaced U.S. with UAE for gas imports. Oh yeah, this is it. This is what you read about in Genesis 15 when God said that nation whom his people, his servants, shall serve will he judge. You renounce that nation, just like Rome. You renounce that nation and its ways, don't mess with them. Like I was saying earlier, pertaining to myself. People used to talk crazy, but I'm glad they never gave me open the door and afforded me the opportunity of shit. And when it did, if I failed and I didn't keep it going, they didn't allow me to come back. I had to pay it back, but I'm glad they did. Now that I look at it, because it made me a stronger. It made me a go getter. I was already a go getter. You know what I'm saying? But it made me invest more in myself and really start. I had to have. I knew I had to have a foundation. I had to have a foundation. Yeah, I had to have a foundation that was real, family, and that would stand the test of time. And there's no other than thus saith the Most High. Accepting your calling. I remember this guy. I used to watch him. I allegedly. No one can buy these cars. Car sales just collapsed. Oh shit. Yeah, so that means investors are going ape shit. And that nation whom they shall serve. Nothing you do, America, will prosper until you do right by the people that's here already. You ain't got to, it's not just against black people. It's affecting everybody. Decisions you make, and you got these people here to foot the bill for it, and you just running rampant over them, and you not opening the door like supplying tools. People got skills and gifts. And okay, encourage them to go and fill out the paperwork to get their EINs and the business license, and fucking give them the tools. That's what Ibrahim Traore is doing. You know, he educating his people. They getting licenses and they doing business with the government to run businesses to serve the government's needs so it can take care of his people. That's a win, fucking win. How can you? Okay, yes, you ain't got just got to do business with your government. The government over there collapse all the colonial established rules and change the game to facilitate what their expectations should look like, what they're expecting their foundation should look like, and expectations for the next generation to come, generations to come, to the third and fourth generation, and even further. It's time though, and after this, black people standing up for Troy like that, and America taking notice, and they trying to put a wedge between us and Africa for supporting Troy. And like I was saying about Troy, he could be that enzyme that the Most High gonna raise to draw his people to bring them back, to awaken them, to bring them to bring it to the truth to your remembrance. What you hear us talking about, they're gonna bring the truth of the Most High's word, and they're gonna operate. No, he's not an enzyme because if he would, but he is affecting hundreds and millions to hundreds of thousands. He's affecting to the millions. He's affecting the fucking globe. People around the globe are standing up and saying enough is enough. Don't touch them. And then the vibration of the African and the diaspora of Africa. Lord have mercy. Y'all don't want them problems. It's not about racist Ibrahim Traore shocked by Jasmine Crockett's compliment. She better be talking right. I know he's shocked because she a politician. But you better stand with Ibrahim. That's who can do business with. Uh, all they gotta do is get the fuck out the way and let our people do business who gonna do business right and give Africa the proper incentives. All this shit they doing now, you got the wrong people trying to approach what could be your next best move that can help America and its citizens, which they would never admit it because they got this hypocrite ass ideology about them being so superior, like They so fucking great. No, you not. You dependent. You are dependent on others. Yeah, you have a system where you set it up where y'all can move as a group, but you got one person that can destroy that shit by doing right, making the right moves, and speaking the right things. Because we see the hidden agenda behind it. It's not guided by love. It's not rooted in love. Love for the Most High and His people. Hell no, it's rooted in making a few people wealthy at the expense of others. They don't give a shit, so I don't give a shit about their energy. That's how you fight that with the same energy, but in a righteous manner. And you go hard, mash the gas on their ass.
Rarely spoke about African leaders in her
Yeah, I
speeches.
ain't never heard.
He
I
took
thought
out
she
the
was
tablet and started
one of them
watching the
other
video.
ones.
In
Them
the
politicians
video,
who be talking.
Jasmine was in the plenary, speaking passionately about leadership and dignity.
Yeah, because this
She
man
was
is a
holding some
real leader.
papers, but her voice echoed clearly. Today, she said, looking directly into the camera, I want to talk about someone who's redefining what it means to be a truly transformative leader. Burkina Faso's president, Traore, has shown the world that sovereignty is not just a word, it is a practice. He has rejected Western imposed economic models and is building local solutions that actually work. The room fell silent as Traore continued to watch. Jasmine continued, her voice filled with admiration. While many leaders promise change, Traore is making real change. He is proving that Africa does not need to be saved. It needs to be respected. And that is something we should all learn from. Traore slowly lowered the tablet, visibly impacted by Jasmine's words. He didn't expect this kind of recognition, especially coming from a political figure so far from his reality. That, he muttered, still processing what he had heard. This changes everything. Marie watched his face, realizing the weight of that moment. Sir, this is incredible. The whole world is talking about this. Traore shook his head thoughtfully. It's not about me, Marie. It's about what we're building here. Jasmine Crockett is seeing something that many in the West refuse to see, that Africa has its own solutions. He got up and walked to the window, watching the movement in the palace courtyard. Children played under the shade of trees, while employees carried boxes with materials destined for rural schools. But, he continued, turning to Marie, it also gives us more responsibility. We need to keep proving her right. Marie nodded, moved. Yes, sir. What should we do now? Traore thought for a moment before responding. We will prepare an official statement. We cannot ignore this, but I want it to be a message of gratitude, not self-promotion. While Marie left to organize the next steps, Traore remained at the window, reflecting on the meaning of that unexpected compliment. He knew this was more than a simple acknowledgement. It was an opportunity to amplify Burkina Faso's message to the world. After watching Jasmine Crockett's speech and absorbing her words, Ibrahim Traore knew he needed to respond. Not just as a gesture of diplomatic courtesy, but as an opportunity to reaffirm the values that Burkina Faso was building. Marie, he said, calling his assistant again, prepare an official statement. I want to thank Congresswoman Crockett, but also use this moment to reiterate our vision. Marie nodded, already starting to organize her notes. Yes, sir. What would you like to say? Traore walked to his desk, picking up a pen to sketch out his ideas.
Okay, Miss Crockett, I'm gonna have a newfound respect for you. You recognize real. You ain't one of them watered down ass politicians. Some big ass blocks you got on, sis. That's what I'm talking about. Excuse me for that, y'all. I just love diamonds. I'm into the finer things in life. I love diamonds. This woman got some fucking blocks on. Damn near big as a fucking ear. Jesus. That's what I'm talking about, sis. Get it.
I want to start by thanking her for the recognition, but most importantly, I want to make it.
Y'all gotta forgive me. Y'all know I'm half hood. You know, I'm fully to the Most High, but I'm half hood. Y'all gotta excuse me.
Clear that our work
In a good way.
is not about applause or external approval. It is about the Burkinabe people.
That's right.
Over the next few hours, Traoré and his team worked hard on the text of the statement.
That's right.
He wanted something that was both humble and powerful, reflecting the essence of his policies and the spirit of his people.
You wanna leave a lasting impression. They gonna remember you forever, brother. You think like a true man of God. That's why I support you. Teach, King.
The following day, during a press conference at the presidential palace, Traoré took the stage wearing traditional Burkinabe clothing. The room was packed with local and international journalists, all eager to hear her response to Jasmine Crockett's praise. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice firm but gentle. "Yesterday I was surprised by a speech given by American Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She was generous enough to recognize our work in Burkina Faso. And for that, I want to express my deep gratitude." The audience remained in absolute silence, captured by the seriousness of his words. "However," continued Traoré, "I want to make something very clear. Our commitment to Burkina Faso is not driven by external praise or criticism. We are building this country because we believe in our people, our lands, and our future." He paused briefly, allowing his words to sink in before continuing. "Congresswoman Crockett spoke about sovereignty and dignity, and I completely agree. With her, sovereignty is not just about refusing outside help. It is about making decisions that reflect the needs and dreams of our people. And dignity is not something we can receive from others. It is something we must achieve together." The statement was met with enthusiastic applause, especially from local journalists. However, some international correspondents appeared skeptical, questioning the viability of policies based exclusively on local resources. "Mr. President," asked a European reporter, "how does Burkina Faso plan to face global challenges such as climate change and economic crises without international?" "We are facing these challenges with local innovation and regional cooperation, but most of all, we are facing them with determination. Our strength lies in communities coming together to find solutions, and that strength cannot be ignored." The response was widely publicized on social media, generating intense debates about sovereignty and sustainable development. Hashtags such as "Boost Respect for Africa" and "Do's Leadership with Dignity" began to circulate widely, highlighting the importance of public policies centered on local communities. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Traoré's team worked to ensure local initiatives continued to move forward. The Minister of Agriculture organized partnerships with local universities to provide technical training to farmers, while Marie coordinated efforts to ensure that families had access to basic resources such as water and electricity. We're just getting started, Traoré said during a meeting with his team. But we can already see the first signs of change. And this change is not just economic, it is social, cultural, and above all, human. Observing the scene, a journalist wrote in his notebook, "Today in Burkina Faso, I saw the future of an Africa that values its history, honors its heroes, and builds bridges of dignity for all." Jasmine Crockett's praise quickly gained international attention. His statement to the United States Congress was widely shared on social media, sparking debates about African leadership and the West's role in global politics. For many, his words were a rare admission that African countries were building innovative solutions without relying on foreign aid. However, not everyone reacted positively. Some American critics accused Jasmine of romanticizing Traoré's policies, arguing that Burkina Faso still faced significant challenges. During a talk show in the United States, a political commentator expressed his skeptical opinion. "These local initiatives are laudable," he said, "but can they really work in the long term? Or are we just applauding a pretty speech?" Jasmine Crockett, however, remained firm in her stance. During a live interview, she responded to criticism with calm and determination. "I'm not saying Burkina Faso doesn't have challenges," she explained. "I'm saying they are showing something that many countries, including ours, seem to have forgotten. That the most effective solutions come from communities themselves. Ibrahim Traoré is proving that Africa does not need to be saved, it needs to be respected." Back in Burkina Faso, Traoré followed these debates closely. He knew that Jasmine's support was valuable, but he also understood that the true test of his policies lay in the hands of his own people. During a visit to a rural village, Traoré met Awa, a farmer who had benefited from agrarian reform. She now grew corn and beans on land that had previously been unproductive. "Mr. President," said Awa, holding a basket of fresh produce, "thanks to you, I can now feed my family and even sell surplus at the market." Traoré smiled, deeply touched by the transformation he saw before his eyes. "You are proof that we can build our future alone," he said, "and we're going to show it to the world." Meanwhile, in other African countries, leaders began to be inspired by Traoré's policies. In Nigeria, for example, a group of young people launched a campaign called Value Your People, raising funds to help rural communities develop sustainable projects. However, the most profound impact was being felt within Burkina Faso. Jasmine Crockett's words had reinforced national pride and united the people around a common vision: that sovereignty and dignity were achieved through collective work. During a special ceremony organized to celebrate local policy advances, hundreds of people gathered to hear Traoré's words. Among those present were benefiting farmers, children who had returned to school thanks to the new family income, and even international journalists who had followed the story since the beginning. Ibrahim Traoré took the stage simply, wearing traditional Burkinabe clothes. He looked at the crowd, visibly moved to see so many lives transformed by the project. "Today," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "we are not here just to celebrate numbers or public policies. We are here to honor those who built this country with their hands and minds. "You are the true pillars of Burkina Faso." The audience applauded warmly, while tears ran down the faces of many present. The impact of Jasmine Crockett's words continued to resonate in Burkina Faso and around the world. For Ibrahim Traoré, the praise was not just personal validation, but an opportunity to amplify the message that Africa had the power to shape its own destiny. He knew that the true legacy of his leadership would be measured not only by his current accomplishments, but by the inspiration he would leave for future generations. During a visit to a newly renovated rural school, Traoré found a group of children sitting in a circle, sharing their dreams for the future. A girl named Adama, eyes bright with determination, raised her hand when he asked about his plans. "I want to be an engineer," she said, holding a notebook in which she had drawn irrigation plans. "I want to use what I learned to help my people, take better care of the land." Traoré smiled, touched by her enthusiasm. He bent down to be at the child's height and replied, "You are already on the right path, Adama, and know that we are building this country so that dreams like yours can come true." The scene was widely publicized on social media, further reinforcing the narrative that small gestures of dignity and solidarity could generate big changes. Hashtags such as "Respect for Africa" and "Leadership." Meanwhile, in the United States, Jasmine Crockett continued to defend her ideas about African sovereignty. During an international conference on global cooperation, she gave a moving speech on the example of Burkina Faso. "We are witnessing something rare," she said, looking directly at the audience. "A leader who doesn't just talk about change, but delivers it." Ibrahim Traoré is proving that Africa doesn't need to be saved, it needs to be respected. Jasmine's words received a standing ovation from many in attendance, including African leaders who have long advocated autonomy and dignity in their politics. Back in Burkina Faso, Traoré continued his mission, completely ignoring external criticism. He knew his decision wasn't just about politics, it was about sending a clear message of dignity and self-sufficiency. During a special ceremony organized to celebrate the first results of agrarian reform, hundreds of people gathered to hear Traoré's words. Among those present were benefiting farmers, children who had returned to school thanks to the new family, income, and even international journalists who had followed the story since the beginning. Ibrahim Traoré took the stage simply, wearing traditional Burkinabe clothes. He looked at the crowd, visibly moved to see so many lives transformed by the project. "Today," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "we are not here just to celebrate numbers or public policies. We are here to honor those who built this country with their hands and minds. You are the true pillars of Burkina Faso." The audience applauded warmly, while tears ran down the faces of many present. Observing the scene, a journalist wrote in his notebook, "Today in Burkina Faso, I saw the future of an Africa that values its history, honors its heroes, and builds bridges of dignity for all." Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Traoré's team worked hard to ensure local initiatives continued to move forward. The Minister of Agriculture organized partnerships with local universities to provide technical training to farmers, while Marie coordinated efforts to ensure that families had access to basic resources such as water and electricity. "We're just getting started," Traoré said during a meeting with his team, but we can already see the first signs of change. And this change is not just economic, it is social, cultural, and above all, human. Fatou got off the bus that brought her from Bobo Dioulasso, her face marked with concern. She walked slowly toward the Innovation Center, carrying with her not only her luggage, but also the memories of her mother, Marie, who always dreamed of seeing her daughter achieve something greater. Upon arriving, she found a scene she had never imagined. A crowd gathered to celebrate the advances of the Dignity Through Self-Sufficiency program. Marie was there, just as Traoré had described, tears streaming down her face as she coordinated the final details of the ceremony. Malik, the boy who had once fought a fever in a makeshift hospital, now wore a new sweater and smiled beside her, holding a board with photos of local initiatives. Ibrahim Traoré took the stage simply, wearing traditional Burkinabe clothes. He looked at the crowd, visibly moved to see so many lives transformed by the project. Today, he said, his voice thick with emotion, we are not here just to celebrate numbers or public policies. We are here to honor those who built this country with their hands and minds. You are the true pillars of Burkina Faso. The audience applauded warmly, while tears ran down the faces of many present. Traoré then addressed Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett directly, even though he knew she was not physically present. Ms. Crockett, he said, looking directly into the cameras, your generosity in recognizing our work means a lot. But I want you to know that our strength lies in the small, everyday victories, in the communities that come together to build a better future. The scene was widely publicized on social media, further reinforcing Traoré's image as a visionary leader. Hashtags such as Respect for Africa and Leadership with Dignity began to circulate widely, highlighting the importance of public policies centered on local communities. Meanwhile, in the United States, Jasmine Crockett watched the live broadcast with growing, if reluctant, admiration. During a live interview, she was asked again about Traoré. This man is proving something bigger than I expected, she said, surprising the audience. He is showing the world that Africa does not need to be saved. It needs to be respected. Back in Burkina Faso, Traoré continued his mission, completely ignoring external criticism. He knew his decision wasn't just about politics. It was about sending a clear message of dignity and self-sufficiency. During a visit to a small rural village, he met a child named Mamadou, who had received school uniforms and supplies thanks to resources generated by land reform. Mr. President, she said, her voice shaking with emotion, this is for you. I wanted to show you that we are using what we have been given to learn. Traoré smiled, deeply touched. You don't just owe it to us, Mamadou. You're proving that when we give people the right tools, they can conquer the world.
That's all I'm saying America should do. You know, the community will create that flow for them. They thirsty for money. No, you don't have to be thirsty. Plant the seed, we harvest. I mean, nurture it, and we harvest it later. It's gonna come forth. But it's in that seed that you're planting. What foundation is it built on? Are you following everybody else and who they do business with? Or are you a trendsetter like your brother Troy Ray? I love what he doing, fam. I love what he doing. I know his mother proud as hell of him. I don't know if she alive or what, but I know his mother, his parents are fucking proud. That's a man with dignity. You gotta respect that. I don't care who you are, white, black, brown, yellow, green, orange, purple. You gotta respect the Ibrahim Traore. You know his heart is not moved by politics or these systems of the world. Any person that's awakened will have a sense of understanding who the Most High is. You can look at what this man is doing. He's doing it. If you did it for the least of them, Christ said, if you do it for the least of them, you did it for me. That's who we're doing it for the least. I'm quite sure there are others who are participating in making sure these things, this function, unfolds properly. It takes money. And Africa does have the resources. The U.S. plan to stop black.
Mr. President, I bring you your children, descendants of the formerly enslaved. They have waited over 400 years to return the spirits of their ancestors back home to Africa. When the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves, all they ever wanted to do was to come back home to Africa. Each and every one of them that you see, many of them are coming to Africa for the first time.
Did you know taking Zysol at night?
I rock with Doctor. The Doc be on business.
Productive day.
Check that out.
To put them to rest here in Burkina Faso. We are here to show you that we are with you. We support you. We are behind you, and we will not let you down. Many of us were told, don't go to Burkina Faso. It's a war-torn country. Guns all over the street. Mr. President, we want you to know that the more they told us not to go to Burkina Faso, the more we ran to Burkina Faso. No one tells them not to go to Europe, to their countries of origin. Therefore, no one will tell us not to come home to Burkina Faso. So mission number 2 is to let you, Mr. President, know that you and the citizens of Burkina Faso have done all the heavy lifting. The least we can do is to support you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Ali Kana, for your wisdom.
Wow, thanks to Mama Africa, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Ali Kana Chiomboli Kwao for exposing lies. Welcome and greetings all of you, dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans here in the continent, and to you who are also in the diaspora. You are welcome home. You are welcome to Africa. Africa is rising. No one will stop Africa from rising. The world right now is paying attention. Across continents, Africans are standing in unity with Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, raising one powerful voice for freedom, sovereignty, and dignity. As the United States of America imposes restrictions and attempted to silence the movement, Africans around the globe are rallying together stronger than ever. On April 3rd this year, an historic moment will unfold as millions declared, we stand with Traore, we stand with Africa. In this video, we explore the growing solidarity movement, the possible fears of the West
Dig that.
and the unstoppable spirit of a new Africa.
Let me tell y'all something, brothers and sisters. Especially my Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters. Do you see what this situation is doing? Is bringing the two sticks together. It's deeper than world philosophy and what they explain it through their doctrine and understanding of us and their what they perceive us to be, not according to the Bible, but what their philosophers and the doctrines and dogma that they came up with. But underneath all that, what stands out the most to me that I know that you got Judah and Israel and Africa heavily, real heavily. A lot of people don't know because they don't go beyond what a set group, a group that has handed them a set uh, way of understanding what they should be researching to learn for themselves, seeking out sources, proof, read these sources. Don't just read no one source, read several sources. You want to get two witnesses, two or three witnesses establishing the thing, and you want to do in-depth study. I've been studying this Hebrew Israelite thing for over 11 years now. About 10 years, over 11 years now. For real. 2010, yeah. I got videos that's out there talking about it. I was in my baby stage. I was in my baby brew stages then. Yeah. 2010 to now. Lord Jesus, that's 15 years. That's 15 years, fam. Been stumbling with the kingdom. It's time to turn up now, but yeah, I see the two sticks of Judah and Israel, the scattered descendants of the natural seed of Shem, Hebrew Israelites, is scattered. According to the Bible, I don't know what everybody's doctrine of understanding is, or if they even have a doctrine. But what I'm speaking about, you can read straight out the Bible. I'm not one of the sense that believe that what you see that's going on in that land and what they're giving you, that, like I said, they come with one form of understanding through their doctrines and dogma. uh-huh. I'm going into the African source. What do I have to lose? Africa's not gonna lie to me. And then I'm gonna look at multiple sources. Africa, no. You want the truth, go through Africa. I don't care if you want. Okay, that's what we just went over a video talking about how people going crazy because their what you call it, their doctorates are not working. Not doctorates, but their degrees are not working sufficient. And we paid all that money, you come back with insufficient funds when it's time to use that degree. Then so many people got degrees, you can buy a degree online. Go to school, class online, they'll see your degree. I've been saying that for years and years. Speaking about, especially Cecil Rhodes, talking about a Rhodes Scholar. Do you know who Cecil Rhodes was? And do you know what he was to your people? You talking about King Leopold, they were nothing. Do the research. I'm like, man, stop playing. Y'all talking about that's like with the Chinese in the clothing industry. I see that company talking about suing them. Like, man, sit y'all ass down. Stop playing. Sue them. You made all this money all these years. Sue them. Y'all not even in business no more. They don't even even honor us no more. China don't honor us no more. That's why they doing what they doing. Don't you know? We know that they expose inside trade secrets. And we know that. And you suing them justifies. We know it's the truth even more. We already know. I know in my spirit. You know, I'm not gonna go into no deep detail, highly detailed study of it, but I've been saying that. I just didn't know to what degree. Like, okay, they were sending persons over there. They do the same thing with the oil. Africa sends this oil through Europe or America, then they refine it and they turn around and sell it back to them, like at higher prices. Like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? I'm giving you the product, crazy. Go mix that thing up, put it together, and run that back. We're gonna pay you, but we ain't paying you no. No, you want some of this oil? We're gonna give you some of this oil. Set you up too where you can get some of this oil. This is an oil company. It's gonna be around forever. You know? And you wanna eat off that. You want some of that sweet crude. You don't want all that. But they fracking. Come on, man. You want some of that sweet crude. And you want to keep that relationship. We want to treat them people right. That's why Africa kicking them out. I'm talking about Africa making decisions to, yeah, some of those old leaders that's there, no disrespect to the people, but some of those old leaders that they show them constantly. I watch a lot of African news daily. China, India, I watch American information too, but a lot of information around the world, especially Africa. I'd love to see what's developing. There's always something developing. That's a newly awakened country, awakened to knowing that there's something greater beyond what we have been given through doctrines of Darwin. We are the first people. And if I always said if God gave anything, it came through us. So how can we not also have the blessings? You're the people that everybody paying to go see entertainment. You pick the genre. You know what I'm saying? You are the Rolls Royce of entertainment, family. You. Sports. You. They eating real good. Even some of us people, everybody's eating good off who we are naturally. And you don't know you God's set apart people. He did something different with you. That's why you set apart. You ain't got no choice but to be set apart. Who else? We ain't running to pay to go see. Yeah, we go see them in certain things. But overall, we paying to go see us. It's not personal, but we paying to go see us. I know I am. I'm sort of seeking out us. You know what I'm saying? We got that. We got this spirit about us. That's different. People not like us. Yeah, they could tap in, but that's the I am. I am the greatness of Yahuwah that's in us. Deuteronomy 7:6. It's talking about us. I tell you no lie. I don't have to keep saying that, but people need to know that there's an out. And it's not based on religion or religious context. It's based on the natural laws of God and your instruction He gave you to rule, have dominion, subdue, and have rulership over everything. But you're not gonna have that if you asking somebody else to give you what was instructed, and you can bring that into fruition if you work the instruction. If you believe and have faith and really working. You can make it happen. I'm gone.
that refuse to be silenced. This is our time. Welcome. And here is the story.
A new heartbeat echoes across the world, from Johannesburg, from Lagos to Dakar, from Paris to Washington. Africans are standing together, united in a powerful call for freedom, dignity, and destiny. And at the center of this rising tide stands a leader who has captured the imagination of millions, Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. Today, we ask critical questions. Why is the West trying to silence this movement? Why is Africa uniting now like never before? And what message is the world hearing from our brothers and sisters across the continents? This is not just a protest. This is a revolution of hope. We stand with Traoré. We stand with Africa. Captain Ibrahim Traoré emerged from the heart of Burkina Faso, a land rich in spirit, yet wounded by decades of exploitation and instability. He is not a traditional politician. He is a soldier of the people, chosen by the people. His leadership represents a break from the past, a bold rejection of corruption, foreign manipulation, and fear. In 2022, as Burkina Faso grappled with internal strife and external threats, Traoré stepped forward, not with promises, but with action. His vision was clear: sovereignty, dignity, and a future built by Burkinabe hands, for Burkinabe children. And soon, beyond his own borders, Africa began to take notice. For many, Traoré symbolizes the Africa they dream of, confident, unbending, and proud. His speeches do not cater to external powers. His actions do not bow to pressure. He stands tall, echoing the spirit of Sankara and the warriors who came before him. The rise of Captain Traoré is more than political. It is deeply spiritual, a reclaiming of African destiny. As Africa unites, the West grows uncomfortable. Why? Because a united Africa threatens the old structures of control, economic domination, military interference, and political puppeteering that has lasted for centuries. When the US government recently moved to prevent Black Americans from traveling freely to Burkina Faso, it was more than a security warning. It was a political message. Stay away from this new Africa. Stay silent. But silence is not an option anymore. Throughout history, Africa has been divided by design. But now, as Africans in the diaspora and on the continent find common cause, the old powers realize they are losing their grip. Their fear is not about security. It is about losing control over a continent rich in resources, ideas, and human spirit. The world is watching, and the world is asking, if African unity is peaceful, if it is hopeful, why does it inspire fear? On social media, in city squares, in cultural centers, and in universities, Africans everywhere are raising one voice. We stand with Traoré. From Jamaica to London, from Atlanta to Nairobi, murals are painted, songs are sung, and flags are flown high. This is not just support for a man. This is support for an idea. The idea that Africa can govern itself, define itself, and uplift itself without begging or bowing to anyone. The unity we see today did not happen by accident. It was born from generations of struggle, from the prayers of grandmothers, the battles of freedom fighters, and the dreams of children. Today, every African stands on the shoulders of giants, and together, they are becoming a giant themselves. April 30th, 2025 will not be just a day of protest. It will be a day of history. Africa is young. Africa is resource-rich. Africa is hungry for change. By 2050, Africa will have the largest youth population on Earth. This means innovation, energy, and unstoppable human potential. The West knows this. That is why policies, media narratives, and foreign interventions try to paint Africa as helpless or chaotic. But the truth is emerging. Africa is not a problem to be solved. Africa is a solution waiting to be unleashed. When African nations speak together, whether in defense of Captain Traoré or any other cause, the world listens differently. For the first time in generations, Africa is setting the agenda, not just reacting to it. Our voice matters, our unity matters, and our future depends on how boldly we stand today. April 30th will not be a single event. It will be a global heartbeat. Across continents, Africans will march, sing, pray, and demand respect for their right to choose their leaders, their destiny, their future. This movement is peaceful. It is dignified, but it is also unstoppable. From Paris to Pretoria, from Accra to New York, the drums of unity will sound. This is bigger than Captain Traoré. This is about all of us, about the right to live free, to dream big, to build proudly. When historians look back, they will mark April 30th, 2025, as a turning point, the day Africa spoke not with a whisper, but with a roar. Today, the world stands at a crossroads. Will it continue to fear and suppress a rising Africa? Or will it finally listen and respect a continent whose time has come? No matter what the answer is, we know our path. We will stand together. We will rise together. We will make Africa great. To every viewer, you are not alone. You are part of a global family reclaiming its power, its pride, and its promise. So today, however you book your hotel, first check kayak to...
The song, family. And I'm gonna make some shirts. I want that energy to be transferred right in our communities. Because we can do business together. Get some things going ourselves. Real talk. It's time. It's scriptural, family.
Subscribe, share, be the change.
Yes, welcome back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing this message to our brothers and sisters in different parts of the world. Thank you for your comment. As you heard, dear lovely family, our unit is very important. They fear us to come together. As you heard at the beginning, what our diaspora were told when they wanted to come to Burkina Faso. They wanted don't to go to Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is not a safe country, it's a war-torn country. But later on, when they came to Burkina Faso, they found they have been told lies. And recently, you heard from the US General talking negative about Burkina Faso, especially.
I think when they tell us something like that, we should tell them that's cool. We're going over there to help them bring peace.
To our hero, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The question is why they're trying to distract the image of Burkina Faso. What is behind Burkina Faso? Why the West are not happy with Burkina Faso? So it's our time as after.
Because they know it's the rise of Judah and Israel. It's bigger than what the world's perception is. These people must awaken and come into who they are as servants of the Most High God. It's bigger, family. They know this. They know what time it is. If I can read that book and know it, they know it. They're not going to give any validity to it like they should. And then your people, if they don't stamp it with whatever the fuck they think they got, approval they got, people won't believe it. And it's happening and unfolding. The words alive. It's unfolding every day if you just pay attention in real life. You call those things that are not as if they are. Like if something happens to you, first thing you doing is calling on God. So you believe, family. You got to walk that walk every day. That's your sword and shield. Everything you need is in His Word, family. You got to draw it from the source to bring it here. He's going to show you how to bring it forth. It's already here for you. It ain't going to drop out no mystery place. It's already here. He created all things. He will move somebody hard. Somebody hard will be moved to put you in a position to receive what you know you're praying. And expecting to receive. And that's another thing I learned. We have to just expect, know it, praying is not how we receive things. Praying is good. It puts you in a state of consecration where you can meditate on the Father, His Word, take in more of His Word, let it marinate in your spirit. Meditate on how the ancestors, I like to think of how the ancestors were moving. I try to picture that time, although I do picture today in real life, because I know we are real. And it's not a fairy tale. It's nothing made up. If you can't see yourself in the Bible, something wrong. They got you. They got you. All of us are an expression of the I am. But be careful what you say behind when you say I am, because you will receive that just reward from the seeds that you planted. There's power in the word. Speaking the affirmative. You speaking like the Most High. Just like Christ when he spoke, they wanted to bust his head. Remember, he had to get low because they said they didn't understand his doctrine. Which he wasn't speaking on doctrine, he was speaking on the instruction that was given from the beginning. Everything the Most High spoke was law. It was an instruction for you, which would have guided you the way in which he would have you to go. Until the enemy crept in unawares, did what he did, what happened, transpired, and now, which that transgression was paid for through the sacrifice of Mashiach. And now you have access to the governor, that Holy Spirit that's prepared by the Father, that, as we know, according to John 14, will lead and guide you to all truth. But don't speak these things when you go before the Most High and think it's gonna happen sometime later. No, you should be in motion, moving towards that. The Spirit recognizes motion. You have to be actively doing. I'm learning little things, and it's working. I'm actively working towards my success, that I may be fruitful and prosper. That's the Word, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So it's gonna happen. As long as I have faith and believe, I know this. Ain't no, okay, yes, I understand faith and believe, but this is what I know. This is what really works. And I know this through experience because I didn't have Andrew Jackson on a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have what they said, talking about blue faces, $100 bills. We got them, but we were able to earn them. But I didn't have all of them on hand when I got in trouble. I called out to the Most High and believed and had faith to the end and walked through them big cases. It was by faith, and I allowed that word to dictate the pace, and I stayed in his rest. Yeah, it wasn't easy. No, it wasn't easy. But this is something I've been on since I was a child. We've all been inaugurated into the Father and his kingdom, according to just shooting like that. But I can say it's done slowed down a lot as far as the gunshots around this area. No, that's good. You might hear about some shooting, but you don't really hear about a lot of. I don't hear a lot of. I'm in the Chatham area. I don't hear it like I used to hear, which is a great thing. And I pray not to hear it no more. Liquor stores closed. We own them. I don't got nothing against people, but I ain't with your churches. Church owning it, that's just another group that's connected to the same government that you don't want to do no business with, that's doing business with corporations. That's one of their little corporations. I'm telling you the God honest truth. They not doing shit in the community in respects to, okay, let's empower the people. Yeah, you buying property and all that, but that shit don't empower the people. They don't own that. The church accounted for that. That's going on their taxes, which they have to show forth to the IRS, and it's under their ownership. They not putting you on there, so you have no share. It might be a means of providing to a degree, which is good, but the Most High is gonna set you up to own and operate your own. You are the church. When He sees you, He sees Himself, meaning you have to be operating in every aspect on all levels. You got to be operating on as we see you, we see the Father in His Son. You, you, and this shit is in the now. Most High is right now. We not wait for 30 years down the line, 40 years down. Yeah, some things in its due time. Because you are drawing the thing out through your faith and belief in what you know thus far. Man, brothers and sisters, it's so deep. I have to guard my conversation, how I think, the words, the words I say. I was about to say something, then I caught myself in mid action. That's why the conversation went whoop, and I went to the right, far right. You know, and then I went into the 45 per hour, 45 mile per hour lane. Came out of 75. And I got to get back up. I heard some gunshots. Pray for whoever. Shooters too, because there's a spirit on them. I can't forget to pray for them. I want you to operate in the spirit that God gave you. Then I should be praying that the Holy Spirit will remind you of that. He's there to remind you, and you remind him that he needs to remind you of these things. But you need to study that word. If you don't study it, you're not going to know how the system operates. You're not going to be in his rest. You're going to miss it. And then when you hear brothers speaking to you, now I understand when they talking about, like I heard the brother say, you talking about Joseph the Father, you off. That's off, and you're going to be held accountable for that. You better repent for that. You're going to wish you never said nothing like that. That's on life. The Most High is going to hold you to that. When you say that, you just going out. You off the grid. You off the grid. I don't care how many people following you. What the hell? What that mean? You ain't gonna. All y'all ain't gonna be going together before the Most High.
You know, when people talk about
You gonna be going separate. So you better get used to it. Don't get tricked off with this group stuff. The Most High is doing business with you. What He has for you is gonna come through you. It ain't gonna come through you in the game. It don't work like that. Yes, we are a family, but you got business. Massive broad combo.
Not any corp.
Man, people tired of this shit. Take a hike, USA.
Hello, folks. Welcome back from KZN. This is Chris. Grady Montasha in his speech yesterday said a few things. Beyond what he's already said, he also said that South Africa is a free country. It's a sovereign country. It will not be a province of the United States. We will defend our sovereignty. Well, good for you, Grady. By the way, do you really think the United States wants all of South Africa's troubles? Your collapsing infrastructure, your broken education system, your ramp?
Because they got your fucking system. It's gonna always be.
You want geophysicists?
On the colonizer system. That's not your natural place. You out of your
120,000 racks.
That's not what God gave you, so it's not gonna work for you. No, we not like y'all.
That's why gold is.
Nothing wrong with that. People are collapsing. got some new grades coming up fast. Yeah. We not like y'all, so no, we not gonna get it. And stop trying to teach it to us. That's the goddamn problem.
Germany has
We know how to connect to our culture. We know who we are.
The impact Burkina Faso's leader has been
I
able.
tell people that every day. You know, people feel a need to have to try and tell you how to think, what you should think, what you should or you should not know. It's like they got to think for you every step of the way. Like, I know what kind of person to come fuck them. I ain't asking for no coach. With all due respect, I don't need no fucking coach. Where were you at when I was in that penitentiary? 3 years coach. Your ass was out here somewhere 20 years old. So back the fuck up off me. I don't know. I don't know everything. I know how to take care of me and my I can do one quite well. And not at the expense of no damn governments. We know how to get knowledge of self and get knowledge that will help us to grow in areas and things that we're involved in for the sake of not just ourselves, but for our family and our friends. You dealing with me and my family, they already know you don't make money. No weapons, no fear. The story of Abraham Trump.
If I told you that in a world ruled by guns, missiles, and machines,
Black people don't fear shit. Don't let them, they selling you, all this is an illusion. They have to sell you something for you to believe in. So then you can in turn
Part of
follow
West
them. You look
Africa,
for
a
more.
nation once
They
burdened
get
by
your appetite
colonial
going.
legacies.
And what you beat now, you looking for more. You know? So they figure they can sell you more. That background's get back.
Man used God's name
Arabs
as a cover for his evil intention to rob and rape and pillage.
Oh yeah, Arabs. What they call it, Trump. Ancient Bible scrolls are in African languages. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
A lot of people ask me, how do you know if a house is good or not? And I get
If I told you the most radical
Time for me to go to bed. Americans being kicked out of Mexico.
Mexican beaches are for Mexicans, not for Americans that want to come and live cheap in Mexico.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. Today we are in nature. So in today's video, this is something that I've talked about before, and it's happening in Mexico now. So apparently the president came out, and I love that she's a lady, she's a woman. She was like, hey, if you are a foreigner coming into Mexico and you have a place next to the beach, my people are allowed to access the beach because it's public for everybody to access. You're not just going to come with your money and thing. You're going to chase away my people. Like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
Yeah, you gotta let their ass know. Africa too. Get your ass out of here. Like you can just, I never had that happen to me, so I'm gonna shut up. I never went into a situation with them cats.
Bring you the most powerful untold stories from across the continent. Bold, unfiltered, and inspiring. No more distortions. No more.
I know how when them cats tried to apply pressure on me. That's not gonna turn out good. That's not gonna turn out good.
As a first-time home buyer, you may get into trouble if you use these types of lenders. And I'm going to go
See your money. Step your business up. It's so much opportunity. Right now, that thing you've been when
powerful storm system is set to impact the United States over the next.
Like Black Americans are going to get on the same page after all. I want y'all to watch this short clip of Reverend Al Sharpton when he visited the Breakfast Club and what he said in regards to us waking up. Check it out.
He has done a direct affront on Black people and working people. and no apology. I mean, when you take down black servicemen's pictures on the Department of Defense's website, including Jackie Robinson and Medgar Evers, you can't be more intentionally offensive than that. So I think that
That's cool. Give us our shit back. You know, concerning them no way. Regardless of what he was thinking.
Rev up your engine. Well, the first major car maker to stop production in the USA due to tariffs, their assembly lines are shut down on May 12th, and it is Mazda. They make them in Alabama for the Canadian market, and they say they're not going to make any more for the Canadian market until, something is done about these tariffs. Mazda confirmed that it's going to halt production of CX-50 Mazda vehicles that are bound for Canada. Mazda says they're going to stop May 12th on the Huntsville, Alabama plant. That's where they build the CX-50 car for North America.
I bought the team, Kevin. I bought the team. I'll put it on my Chase Freedom Unlimited card, and I'm going to cash back on a few.
And they're not going to send anymore. Mazda says, being political here, maintaining fair trade and economic stability globally and within the North American market is extremely important. And we hope that the trade situation will be resolved quickly. But they're shutting it down for the time being, not sending them to Canada because the tariffs going back and forth. Everybody's arguing about it, right? Now, granted, they only sold 14,000 of them in Canada last year. It's not a big, gigantic market, right? So I guess they're picking something that, okay, we'll do it with the small amount of stuff that we're selling. They're still making them and selling them in the United States. They sold about 45,000 Mazda CX-50s in the United States last year. It's a lot more than they sold in Canada. They're still making those. Well, it's now confirmed that Nissan is going to have a Frontier plug-in hybrid because they're understanding people like the hybrids. They don't want an all-EV pickup truck. Those have all miserably failed, hardly any of them. So, of course, the biggest failure of them all was the Cybertruck, which is a massive failure. But the Ford F-150 Lightning's a failure. The Chevy Silverado electric truck is a dramatic failure. 1 year, they sold less than 1,000 of them. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Why are they even making the stupid things, right? Well, Frontier is going to be a plug-in hybrid where they got a big battery, they can drive a certain amount of miles on electricity, but mainly they're hybrid vehicles, so they're more efficient, they get better gas mileage, and that is what pickup truck guys want, right? They want something that can go a long distance and never be stranded, because even though it's a plug-in hybrid, you can plug it into your house, charge it up, drive maybe 40, 50 miles or whatever on electricity, and then it switches back to hybrid. But it'll have a bigger range because it's a combo of the two. And when you run out of electricity, it doesn't matter because then it runs on a gasoline engine running things. So smart move. The only problem is it's Nissan. And when are they saying this is going to happen? Oh, maybe in 2, 3 years from now, right? They don't even tell you the specs of this thing because it's just they say we're going to build this thing, right? They don't even say where they're going to build the thing and what kind of setup it's going to be. Just so we're going to build a plug-in hybrid. Nissan is showing.
Y'all better pay attention to the economic forecast, finances, whatever you're investing in. You want to have something solid that's going to back what your assets, where the whole is worth. You better pay attention to gold, family. Pay attention to gold and silver, and pay attention to Africa. They done took control. My last 2 videos was to promote that, so people can start looking that way. They can take control of their mineral assets. You can invest in them doing business within their own system, how they're ordering their business, constructing their business, and doing business. Not according to no outside nation's model. They're taking control of their own affairs, which they should have been taking control. They don't need no outside hindrance. It's basically an outside hindrance. They need to collapse what was going on from centuries ago that still have the effects that it's having over there and coming to the newness. Kino Faso, Mali, and Niger is a breath of fresh air. Right now, a breath of fresh air and I believe it's a guide that other nations should take notice of. You should take notice and take hold of that same energy. It's time. Black people have spoken. Right now, a lot of Africans in the diaspora are speaking strongly to what's going on with this Burkina Faso thing. And I'm like, yeah, Trump, wake up. We been woke. Y'all the ones sleep. I don't got nothing against the elders, but they sleep. They still drunk off democracy and still ain't got none. You have to be a Chinese and black skin.
So now I'm trying to find a gate into the booth. Don't really know my way around. 所以啊，咱们这个从哪里可以走到咱们那个这个桥？大桥。我，你看
Bro, you speaking Chinese. He like, what the fuck? No, bro. Black people go and study. What is wrong with y'all? Black people go study. Burberry running their commercials too. Y'all ass gonna be shocked on these holidays. People ain't buying that shit from these department stores. They gonna go. They running their ass over to China. Hey, how old are you? He's 7. You look about 20s, yeah. Oh, he's 29. I feel you ain't no bread. You can't get money. You can't get married without no bread. Smart man. Hey, hey, they tripping. Damn. Hey, 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 bro, that's what I'm talking about. He got jokes.
我一开始的时候，我是来到中国留学的，然后结果在中国做小生意。我是从那个深圳来的。富二代是吧？还行吧，还可以。你说的还行。对，我当年不给，但是有其他学生他们是以奖学金过来的。他们能给，但是我不给，还行吧。你不是刚才也说你要给我什么？你说我们来旅游啊，你就正好就给我整一个，没事，我就来旅游了，玩几天就差不多了。
Calm down, man. You trying to hurry up and get to, you know what I'm saying? They gonna turn you on to hoochie mama, then you gonna be mad, bro. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Check, bro.